A goal without a plan is just a wish. Very short, very simple, but it's realistic because before we aspire into something, we need to write down the blueprint. Okay, we need to have a clear path in mind on how to achieve it. So sa mga nagsusulat ng test paper dyan na walang plano, walang blueprint, kung ano lang maisip, yun lang ilalagay. Salamat na lang sa lahat, pero hindi ko kayo gustong barkada. Okay, we have a process to follow and we have rules to follow. We've mentioned about last time the principles in conducting assessment, right? One of that is reliability. So for your assessment to be reliable, what do we need to include in your test should be items that we taught. Okay, items that we taught in our class. Kung hindi mo tinuro, huwag mo i-assess. I'm referring to post-assessment, summative assessment. Those examinations we take after the actual implementation of the curriculum. Okay. Okay. For this session, this will be our learning outcome. This time, you're going to meet what we mean by table of specification. Ito yung blueprint na tinatawag natin. But I would like you to be careful kasi minsan may mga practice on the field na hindi sinusunod yung dapat. Okay? This is for you to know what should be done. Okay? What should be executed. Okay. I mean, if we are going to create, let's say, for instance, a test paper, college na to ha, we are still required to submit a table of specification. Okay, we need to specify the items, the type of test, the content of the examination. Plus, of course, the number of minutes, okay, number of days in which we taught the particular lesson. So again, on your screen are the learning outcomes, okay, the intended learning outcomes, that's ILO. Okay, this will be our session outline based on our session objective and session topic. And on your screen are the references I used for this session. Okay, let's begin with the overall test development process. Okay, since we are talking about planning, alam naman natin when it comes to making tests, like what I've mentioned, we need to have a plan, we need to create a blueprint. So as mentioned by Dindy, you need to know your purpose. Why are you assessing? And how do we identify the purpose? Go back to your objectives. And then you will base everything on that. Okay? So that's number one. After that, on nabanggit ni Dindy, specify learning outcomes to be assessed. Still about the objective. So kung daily assessment naman ito, balikan naman lang ulit yung objective mo. Which learning outcome are you going to assess? Katulad nito, yung binasa ni Nicole kanina with emotions. Okay? With feelings, binasa niya yon. Ang i-assess ko dito, ang output will be your created TOS or table of specification because that's what we stated in our ILO. Now, prepare test specifications. This refers to the table of specification na ituturo ko sa inyo mamaya yung iba-ibang format and how to do this one. For this one, item construction, construct pool of items. This is the perfect time in which since you already have the blueprint, ito na yung magsusulat ka ng items. Pero alam nyo, para mas mapadali itong phase na ito, yung ibang teachers, ginagawa nila, after every lesson, magpe-prepare na sila ng set of questions. Okay? And then from the pool of questions, dun sila hihila pag gagawa na sila ng summative assessment tool. Which is possible on a daily basis. No, it's possible. You refer to those questions which you've collected. Ang hirap kasi kapag multiple choice type of test, kailangan na concentration dyan. Okay? Kailangan time dyan. Kasi mag-iisip ka ng items na talagang matcha-challenge yung isip ng bata. Kunyari, sino ang pambansang bayani? Letter A mo, Jose Rizal. Letter B mo, Cardo Dalisay. Na, no? Is it a valid choice? Mapapaisip ba yung bata do? Common sense, di ba? Sino siya? We do not know. We know Cardo Dalisay, but if you're going to include Cardo Dalisay among the items, among the choices, automatic ang tatanggalin na ng bata yun. So para siyang bonus part, which should not be. Okay? I repeat, yung mga pagpipilian dapat, this will challenge the thinking of the learners and it should challenge the thinking of the learners. Okay, parang yung mga exams natin sa EDUC 106, sa EDUC 101, lalo na sa licensure examination for teachers. Parang tama lahat. Di ba? So do not write something that is obvious among the choices. If it's obvious, exclude it. Think of wiser alternative for that. Okay, so that's constructing pool of items. Okay? Again, mahirap lang maggumawa niyan kapag multiple choice type of test. Kapag identification, very easy. Okay, pag identification naman, the technique is do not copy verbatim from the book. Word for word. Kunyari, for science, matter, ano mo, anything that occupies space and has weight, yun yung nasa libro. Huwag mong gayahin yun. You paraphrase. Okay? Kasi ang tendency, kapag yun yung nilagay mo, the child may memorize the definition, but may not know the real meaning of that, the content of that definition. So we are more of understanding, not memorizing. Okay? You see the difference if nilagay natin yung exact definition from the book and you transformed it in other words or using other words, you paraphrase it. Okay? Kasi lalo na ang mga Pinoy, ang galing mag-memorize, ang galing mag-memorize sa bata, pero hindi nila naintindihan yung memorize nila. So that's what we mean by the second phase. While the third phase, review and revise items, what's the suggestion here? How do we review? Sige, based on your observation of the practices among schools and among your former teachers. How do we review tests? How do we assess or revise, review yung binuo nating test paper? Ano yung mga strategies na gagamitin natin? So, balikan mo yung mga principles, no? Parang may criteria ka dyan. I-check mo kung finalo mo yung principles. That's one way of reviewing. So, that's a self-assessment of your output. It's also good that you ask expert. Kaya yung mga test papers natin, pinapasa sa superior. Chine-check nila, bina-validate, and then pipirmahan pa yan. Eh. It's not only about the principles, the conventions also in terms of grammar. Okay, maraming nagkakamali dyan. Kaya hindi maintindihan pala ng bata kasi maling grammar na ginamit mo. And then simplify the instructions. The shorter the instruction, the better. Okay, at ito yung rule ha. Yung unang item sa test nyo should be the easiest. I repeat, the first item in your test paper should be the easiest item in the entire test. Huwag niyong umpisihan dun sa pinakamahirap. The philosophy behind placing the easiest item on the first one para ma-motivate yung bata. Because if you know the first item, you will continue answering. Pero pag una pa lang, hindi mo na alam, you have the impression that the test is difficult immediately. Be careful and make sure that you review your test papers before you implement or you ask your learners to take the test. Simplify. I repeat, if it's a standard test, pare-pareho yung itsura niya. Okay, among levels. But I repeat, if your plan is like that, then print a separate test paper for those sections na palagay mo yun yung dapat nilang i-test. Huwag mo nang ilalagay for section A only. Destroy the walls. Okay, yung among sections na kapag sila nandito, no? Again, equal opportunity for everyone, like what we are saying. And we are always shouting. Okay, identifying the purpose of the test. Okay, number one, we need to identify the purpose of the test in order to seek what the learners know, in order to address specific learning problems, in order to detect difficulty in terms of misconceptions or areas of functions. So this refers to the different purposes, okay, why we conduct tests. Yung number one, syempre, to seek what the learners know, achievement test yan. Well, pwedeng summative, pwedeng formative. To address specific learning problems, this refers to diagnostic test. Dinadiagnose mo kung may problema. Okay? Kung hindi siya matututo sa math, bigyan mo ng exams, alamin mo yung root cause. Okay? Like for reading, ganito ang technique namin. We have this what we call toolkit na PhilErie. Okay? PHIL and then IRI. That's PhilErie. It's an acronym. Yung PhilErie na yan, it's not form of assessment. Like, kung grade 7 sila, they will take the grade 7 PhilErie test. Kung bumagsak sila ng grade 7, bababa namin yung assessment tool. Ipapatest namin yung grade 6 assessment tool. Pag binagsak pa rin nila yung grade 6 assessment tool, ibababa pa namin yung assessment tool. Grade 5 ang ipapatest namin sa grade 7 students. Kung ano yung mapasa niyang level, it means to say, yun yung reading ability niya in terms of level, curricular ladder. So kung grade 3 ang naipasa ng grade 7, kunyari, grade 7 ka, and then from grade 3 assessment yung naipasa mo, Meaning to say, your reading ability is for grade 3, kahit na nasa grade 7 ka. Okay? Ganun siya. So at least we know now how to approach. So we start with reading lessons intended for grade 3 students to be taught to grade 7 learners. To detect difficulty in terms of misconceptions and areas of function as in multiple choice type of tests. I repeat, these are the possible purposes when conducting examination. Mostly, ang madalas natin ginagamit yung una. Okay? Sa dulo yan. Pero itong pangalawa at pangatlo, it's along the way. You've heard about item analysis, of course. This is where the teacher will identify after the test yung least learned skills and most mastered competencies ng bata. So if this item, kunyari 49 sila, 48 yung nagkamali doon, isa lang yung nakatama, yung pa yung hindi nagpa-perform sa loob ng klase mo. So alam mo na, hinulaan lang niya yung item na yun. So walang nakakuha sa item na yun, meaning to say there's something wrong. Either hindi nila naintindihan, hindi mo na ituro yung item na yun. So what to do? If it's listed as the least learned competency, then after that test, okay, after that assessment, do something, do some remedial on that particular item only. Example, sabi dito. Hmm. Multiple choice item test. Test 9 over 12, this is fraction, minus 2 over 4. Okay, equals blank. Choices. 7 over 8, 3 over 12, 4 over 12, 6 over 12. Are these choices perfect choices for this item? I repeat, sabi ko kanina, di ba, pag multiple choice type of test, yung mga pagpipilian dapat confusing din. Okay? Like it will challenge really the learners. Yung hindi obvious. So, now my question here, are the alternatives, okay, the other choices aside from the correct answer, perfect choices for this one? Pag sinolve mo yan at hindi ka marunong mag-solve ng fraction, ang possibility would be, lalagay mo yung denominator 12 minus 4. It's equals to 8. Ayan, that's letter A. Error in getting the difference in both numerator and denominator. You get the point? Kasi automatic yung iba na hindi alam yung fraction, ima-minus lang yung 9 minus 2 equals 7. 12 minus 4 equals 8. So the answer is 7 over 8. What about for the other one, yung letter C, 12 yung denominator. So in here, error in the similar fractions to similar ones because we are referring to 4. Okay, as a result of that. Alam mong hanapin yung denominator, no? Common. Okay, the common denominator. But in terms of the similar fractions, doon ka nagkakamali. Same with 6 over 12. Error in getting the difference between similar fractions. Next, specifying the learning outcomes. Okay, please take note of this DepEd order. In here, you are going to see the guidelines on assessment and rating of learning outcomes under the K-12 basic education. This one is still in effect up to the present time. So makikita nyo dito, yung, even the percentages, okay, the percentages for grading the learners. Again, may standard tayong sinusunod. That's what we need to follow when we compute grades. And I repeat, compute grades. Kaya ko mano lang. Kaya ko maglumawek in babo, sulat. No. Okay? The grade should reflect their performance.
Okay, sir. May mga cases lang po ako yung naririnig na, for example, sa mga grade 12, kasi po, di ba, graduating ng mga student na yan. So, kung minsan, yung mga teachers is nagbibigay ng 74 sa student, and out of the consideration para daw mag-graduate yung bata, so, ibibigay na ng 75. Is it okay po na gano'n ang gawin ng isang advisor for the sake of makagraduate lang yung student?
Okay. Technically, the answer is no. Ayun yung madalas na impression nila, no? Na kapag 74 daw yung grade, may ginawa naman, konti na lang. Okay? Baka naman may pwede pang pagbigyan, no? Minsan nga, na-instruct pa tayo na huwag magbigay ng grade na 74 kasi in question pa yon. Malapit na eh. Konti na, no? But, are we saying that for the entire grading system, we should omit 74 as a grade? Technically, no. Okay, ngayon, ang gagawin mo as a teacher, kasi madalas ang teacher natatakot, hanapan ng records, hanapan ng papel, Ang madalas nilang ginagawa, pinapasa na lang para hindi na sila hanapan ng record. Yun yung problema kapag hindi ka nagko-compute at nagtatabi ng mga row scores. Walang portfolio na pinasa. You do not know how to justify. Ang gagawin ng teacher, papasa na lang. For the sake of graduating, and it should not be like that. I repeat, it's not about who's deserving to pass or not, but who's deserving to be promoted in a way. But isipin nyo rin, do they need to stay for them to be a better person in preparation for college, in preparation to the next level? Handa na ba sila? Yung tanong. Hindi yung dapat na siyang pumasa kasi ang tagal na niya dito, kasi matanda na siya. Okay? But we could give grade 74 basta't may naitabi kayong mga files, records na pinakita nyo, kinumpute nyo talaga, at nag-conduct na kayo ng remedials, pero hindi siya nag-a-attend. Dapat may pa-attendance ka pa siya. Okay? Pero alam na, even teachers na tamad magtabi ng files, okay? Again, deserve ng mga magulang at mabata malaman kung paano kinumpute yung grades nila. But when you show the class record, yun lang record niyo yung pakita nyo. Okay? Huwag na ipapakita yung data ng ibang students in the class record kung paano kinumpute. Because that's personal and private. Okay? So, ganun yun. So, I repeat, may grade na 74. Again, we need to produce quality individuals in our society. And we should start within our classroom. We should start within ourselves. Pag hinayaan mo yan na pumasa kahit hindi pa siya handa, it's like you're opening a mess. Okay? Opening a liability into the society. Because they're not competent. Okay? Dahil hindi siya competent, pinasa mo siya, nagtatrabaho na ngayon, ayan, sila yung mga tambay, sila yung mga gugulo ng ka-office mate, pakigawa to, ganyan. So, ano mangyayari sa workplace? Okay? Kumbaga yung brain drain, hindi lang sa mga pumupunta sa abroad, no? Yung mga magagaling na pumupunta sa abroad, tayo rin mismo. Yung reason why it happens, because we let learners to be like this and to be like that. Yung empathy, dalawang bagay yan. Naawa ka, pinasa mo kasi naawa ka sa magulang. Okay? Pero yung naawa ka, meron kang ginawa. Okay? It's nasa ngayon, it's the hardest thing to do. Binagsak mo siya kasi gusto mo matuto siya at maging handa siya. Then, it's noble. Okay? It's noble. Pansin nyo naman sa mga results ngayon na international test. Number 1 ng Philippines, diba? Isa sa mga nangunguna, sa mga mabababa, yung marka. Okay? Imagine, grade 7, high school, hindi makarecognize ng letter. Ano yun? Yun. Doon nangyari yun, Miss Parico. Bakit siya umabot ng grade 7? Kasi naawa si teacher. May attendance naman, araw-araw naman pumapasok. Mabait naman yung bata. Ano, bait ba ang kailangan pag mag-isa ka na lang? No. You need to have the competence. Okay, you need to be competent. Both competent and competitive. Hindi competitive ka lang tapos hindi ka competent. It's your decision in the future, but I repeat, produce competent individuals if you want a competent society. Okay, imagine the future kung hindi competent yung individuals na pinaproduce natin. Palala ng palala, yun yung case. Tapos, magre-reklamo ka, ay, makanyano rin anak niya. Makanyan ka kasi. Okay? Nothing will change on the results. Nothing will change among the learners if the teachers will not change. Okay? Kung walang bago sa ginagawa mo as a teacher, do not expect a change among your learners because you're doing the same. Expect the same if you're just doing the same. Okay? Okay. Again, read this DO 73 series 2012 for you to be guided on the assessment and rating of learning outcomes for K-12 basic education curriculum. Okay, properly stated learning outcomes says here, define the behavior or task to be performed. Example, when you write to appreciate the beauty of poetry as an objective, how are you going to make an assessment showing appreciation of the beauty of poetry? Diba? It's too broad and it's too abstract in a way that we do not know what exact assessment tool, assessment item will measure that objective. Okay, again, binabalikan natin yung lesson plan writing natin, no? Because that's your reference for writing your assessment. I repeat, ang i-assess mo yung objective statement mo. Now, if we change it in like this one, to write a paragraph with grammatical sentences, is that specific? Okay, so kung yun ang ating objective, to write a paragraph with grammatical sentences, what will be your assessment? Anong test item ang ipapagawa mo? So kung gagawa ka na ng assessment tool, ha? Test paper. Anong item? Can you give us an item, a question, o kaya kung anong test type that will match that objective? So pwedeng instructions na ilagay mo, in this section, write a paragraph consisting of 5 sentences following the subject-verb agreement rule. Yun lang. At yun lang i-check mo while checking the essay. Okay, the paragraph construction and of course, the sentences which should be grammatical. Okay, so yun, aligned siya. It's doable. May naisip ka na assessment tool, pero kung nilagay mo, to appreciate the beauty of poetry, paano natin i-assess yun? Diba? It's so hard to assess. I repeat, uh, everything starts with your objective statement. So kapag hindi specific, confusing ang objective statement nyo, lahat maguguluhan hanggang sa dulo. And that refers to the assessment. Okay. Make sure that classroom tests represent the stated learning outcomes to be assessed. What do we mean by this? You are referring to remedial lessons. And in this remedial lessons, na-identify na yung objectives na hindi na-meet. Okay, for that particular grade level. So when you do your assessment in that remedial class, ang focus mo lang is yung na-identify mong objectives na hindi na-meet. Okay, and this one refers to objective alignment. I repeat, do not assess something which you did not write in your objective statement. Make sure that classroom tests represent the stated learning outcomes to be assessed. So tulad nung kanina, to write a table of specification, so definitely you're going to write a table of specification at the end. Hindi kayo magro-role play. Okay, hindi ko kayo pagagawin ng pelikula dito. Kasi yun ang ating ILO or objective statement. Okay. Preparing the blueprint. Ito na. Ang pinakahintay ng lahat. Okay? In preparing the blueprint of as for assessment, you need to remember the trilogy among curriculum, instruction, and assessment. Okay? At alam nyo to because you already took